Yo, what's going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV again. We are experimenting with what works best for our mic because I didn't bring my microphone or my headset, but we are here to talk about the 80th episode of The Sopranos. It is the third episode of the second half of the sixth season, obviously the 15th of the season overall. Yeah, a couple people died. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. We didn't really meet any new characters or anything. I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna listen to this audio and see how I like it. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. We're just gonna have a talk about the plot, what happened, just kind of have a big old discussion. So let's go. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually pretty good audio. It's just really quiet, so I'll try to talk a little louder, I guess. But we're gonna get into what happened. So the FBI recovers the body of Bookie Willie Overall, which is Tony's first murder as a mob member. Obviously his dad brought him up. There's Johnny Boy up there. There's a lot of reminiscing in this episode. I feel like that's like a really big theme. They recover the body based on information from Soprano family capo Larry Boy Burries. He pretty much rats him out and tells him, as he's going away, he takes like a plea deal, I'm pretty sure, and tells him what happened and someone dies. So Tony and Paulie drive to Miami to lie low until the heat is off. Obviously, Tony did kill the guy, so he's going to be the number one suspect, or it is assumed, But it actually turns out okay. So on the way down, Tony asks Paulie how Johnny heard about Ralphie's joke about his wife, the incident which nearly led to hostilities between New Jersey and New York, but Paulie says he does not know. That was a huge controversial situation for the show. That was a huge plot line. Like, who told John about the joke that Ralphie made? And Paulie did. Paulie was a really good friend for a while with Johnny Sack, but I don't know. There's been a lot of changes since then, and Paulie doesn't care to talk about it. He doesn't want to admit that because he pretty much started a war between the families. While Paulie was Tony's role model growing up, Tony now doubts his loyalty and usefulness. It's like, well, this guy doesn't have any wife, he doesn't have kids, he doesn't really have anything to fight for, he's kind of losing his income, and he kind of talks about this with Beansy. So, speaking of Beansy, in Miami, the two men meet Beansy's Cuban contacts and agree to trade in stolen goods. So obviously, they're trying to find as many business ventures as possible, and especially get Paulie involved because again, Tony's kind of finding this guy to be useless. As time goes on, it's like, what is this guy even good for anymore? So Tony also arranges a bridge loan of $200,000 from Hesh to cover a string of losing sports bets. They lose over and over again, and obviously they want to make money. This is one of their biggest kind of ventures. But yeah, Larry tells the FBI that the late Jackie Aprile Sr. killed Overall. He's like, you know what? I'm not gonna rat Tony out. Like, he is a boss, and I'd be frowned upon forever. And the fact that he even ratted out that this Overall guy died or whatever. But he said Jackie Aprile Sr., who's dead, did it. So that makes it a lot better because the FBI is going to kind of find a dead end on that angle. But upon receiving this news, Tony rents a sport fishing boat to celebrate with Paulie. However, Paulie is uneasy as he remembers the killing of Big Pussy on a boat. So yeah, he gets kind of this mini PTSD kind of moment. He's like, well, what the fuck? We're on a boat. It's Tony. He might kill me here. Like, Paulie is definitely sensing something on the water. He's definitely sensing some tension between him and Tony. Something in the water, no pun intended. But on the open sea, Tony questions Paulie again about the joke leak. Paulie again denies involvement. He's not going to tell Tony he did that because he doesn't know what's going to happen to him if Tony finds out. Tony glances at a hatchet and some fishing knives, but the tension passes. He sees all these weapons. He's like, well, maybe Paulie is going to use these on me. I don't know. There's a lot of trust issues going between these two as they're kind of sitting on this boat and having a time and, eating some rigatoni. And, yeah. So that night, Paulie has a dream in which he sees Pussy and, in a panic, asks him how he would handle his own death. Back in New Jersey, meanwhile, Paulie sends Tony and Carmela a $2,000 espresso machine. So the trip ends well. No one gets hurt. Tony tells her that they owe their lifestyle to people like Paulie. Paulie keeps the ship afloat. As useless as he's been, he's like a founding father almost of this era of the crime family. So, in New York City, Faustino Doc Santoro and his bodyguard are murdered in a hit arranged by Phil, who becomes the new boss of the Lupertazzi family. I think it's kind of revenge for what they did to Jerry, who was his protege at the time. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I'm going to take him out. There's just this power struggle, this power swing, and now Phil Leotardo is officially the boss of the Lupertazzi family, so I think that book is kind of closed. Now people are probably going to wish death on him, and there's probably going to be some drama coming up, but it's safe to say that Phil Leotardo is the boss now. So, Junior is visited as a mental care center by his former soldiers Pat Blundetto and Pepe Skirbo. And in the Junior situation, the Junior storyline is kind of breeding some really cool stuff, some really interesting angles that are going to be kind of carried on through the rest of the season. Junior begs them to aid his escape, but soon loses his resolve. He returns to his old mob habits as well, which is really cool to see. Bribing an orderly and organizing an illicit poker game for other patients. The card game, the big card games, that he had in the mob. He carries that with him, and I think it's awesome to see that. I think it's really cool. It's got potential. And Junior had some of the more interesting screen time throughout this episode. So, Professor Lynch, a patient Junior teases, informs on him, and the game is ended pretty much, snitches. So, Junior finds an admiring follower and a young patient named Carter Chong, who has been institutionalized for his anger issues. He's been known to kind of lash out and stuff. So these two kind of bond, they become friends, really cool relationship. Um, so Junior assaults Professor Lynch and is given a new regimen of sedatives. You don't really get punished for like attacking people when you're in a mental ward. You just kind of get reevaluated. So there's that. Carter devises a plan to distract the orderlies handling the pills to Junior so that he can covertly throw them away. He like yells, he causes like a big commotion, a distraction, and while he does that, Junior throws the pills away. So some of the drugs were meant to combat Junior's incontinence, and he soon humiliatingly wets himself. So he has all sorts of these different side effects. He has all sorts of these health problems in these later years, and they're trying to help him. And I mean, all along he doesn't realize this, but they are trying to help him. And he ends up wetting himself, which is a pretty comical moment. The orderly is fired, that Jamil, I think his name was, for taking bribes, and Junior is threatened with a transfer to a less pleasant state-run facility if he does not take his medications. They've been realizing this, they've been running tests and realizing there's not a lot of meds in this man's system. So yeah, he's probably skipping out on medications, he's probably ditching them. So yeah, he complies with the treatment, much to Carter's disillusionment. He's like, "What the fuck? I'm trying to do all this shit for you. I'm sacrificing. Could be getting in trouble, and this is what you do." Junior tries to make up with him, but calls him Anthony, which really sets him off. So at a piano recital, Carter starts throwing paper balls at the pianist. When Junior shows disapproval, Carter becomes enraged and ferociously attacks him. So you have two attacks in the middle ward in one episode. It's quite eventful. It's quite entertaining. It's pretty funny. Like, I hope we see more. After I'm done recording this video and putting clips together, I'll probably start watching the next episode, but I hope we see more of this. Junior's next scene with the other patients, though not Carter, receiving animal-assisted therapy in the garden. He is in a wheelchair with one arm in a cast, apart from the others, so yeah, he got his ass beat. Carter did a great deal on him. So, looking at who died, obviously Willie Overall was a bookie, shot dead by Tony Soprano with a revolver on orders from Johnny Boy Soprano. It was Tony's first murder at the age of 22, shown in a flashback to 1982. Then we also get the death of Faustino Doc Santoro, who was gunned down after leaving a massage parlor in New York City by a trio of gunmen on orders from Phil Leotardo to take over his Lupertazzi crime family boss's title, and or as a revenge for the Gary Torchiano murders, and or as payback for his insults towards Phil. So everything kind of built up. There's been a lot of drama lately. And yeah, obviously Doc Santoro's bodyguard was gunned down alongside Doc Santoro. So there's going to be a lot of interesting things. Again, like I said, one of the more interesting things going on in the show right now is Junior being in this mental ward and having all of these different patients that he's becoming friends with, and we're meeting all these new people. And I obviously didn't really reference that or mention it, but it's cool. I've been really enjoying what they've been putting together for this season. Yeah, I'm fucking tired of shit. I've been really groggy all day. Hopefully I have enough energy for tonight because we are going to be recapping any of the good playoff games content's going to be pretty dead because I'm really focused on watching playoff games, and I also have to close out my college semester as well. College just year, because we're going on summer break here soon. Literally going on summer break like a week from today, maybe a little over that. But yeah, hopefully you guys have a good rest of your day. Maybe some 2K. For the guys that are fans of 2K, the 2K content, we might be having some of that rolling out this week if I have time. But leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It is your boy GZTV, as always, giving you guys the Sopranos content. I think we have like 6 episodes left. We're kind of narrowing it down, and then we're gonna start watching You, I believe, because I've heard nothing but good things about that show, so it should be awesome. I'm out, guys. Have a good rest of your day. See ya.